would you like? I will tell you what's going to happen with the Sacramento Kings. George Karl is going to be fired, and that owner is worth several $billion, so it's like pocket change to us. They are going to hire as coach, because who do you have to hire? You couldn't get Calipari, right?
Right.
So you got to. If you're the owner, you've been embarrassed. You've looked bad. You have just totally screwed this mess up. Who do you hire? The Oklahoma City Thunder's ex-coach,
Scott Brooks.
That's who the Nuggets should have overspent for.
When you get a magazine 10 years from now, there'll be a picture of Woody's World, and it'll say, he's the man that told you Scott Brooks was going to. Scott Brooks. I mean, isn't that the way out of this? Scott Brooks was liked by his players. That DeMarcus, he'll go in knowing, I got to get along with DeMarcus Cousins. I don't want to lose my job.
Shouldn't George have known that also, though?
So he will come out of retirement. Self-imposed.
Scott Brooks.
I
think he was only going to take a year off anyway.
Leave of absence. Self-imposed leave of absence. That he'll take that job, because that job could be intriguing if you're right. If Willie Cauley-Stein is any good. If Rondo, there's another crowd pleaser among coaches. That you got to get somebody that can get along with Rondo too, and that didn't happen in Dallas. It didn't happen much even with
Boston.
Doc Rivers. So you need somebody. George is not the guy that will put up with crap. He will say, as he did J.R. Smith, "Don't come back to any more playoff games." Carmelo, he didn't talk to. You've covered the team. He wouldn't even talk. Assistant coaches would talk to Carmelo.
Well, if George wants a dang job, he better start changing
that's
things.
my next question. If that does happen, Woody, if you're right, and I believe that's a distinct possibility, is George done? Does George get another job in the NBA?
No. He's like, forgive me, he's like Mike Shanahan. Mike Shanahan's not going to get a job unless there's a desperate situation where in midseason and they want an outsider. You know, and I look back to Cleveland last year where they had the problem with the texting to the sidelines, and there was a lot of dysfunctional there. That Mike's a guy who can come in and clean up stuff. George will not get another. He wasn't good. It took a desperate situation for somebody to hire George. Now there were 5 or 6 jobs that came up a year ago, and he didn't get a sniff, at all. George is passed by because, George is also a reflection of altitude basketball. He had the right. George's style is not going to play well in Sacramento. Why? Really? I mean, even though we know what's going on with Golden State and running and setting a pace now, but I don't see that style with DeMarcus Cousins.
Not only that, Rajon Rondo doesn't listen to coaches very well. He got into it in Dallas with Rick Carlisle, and Rick Carlisle wanted him to push it up the court. Rondo wouldn't push it up the court.
Forget about Cousins for a second. Do you really think George and Rondo are going to get along?
No. There are too many.
He's gone.
There are too many questionable personalities and characters on that team, and George doesn't deal with those well.